Hello, hello, everyone. This is again your sentiment-driven This Week in Crypto. As I'm again, actually last time, next week Brian will be back, taking over this place, Maxim, founders and CEO of Santiment. I will do similar like last week, unless there are many questions, we can go into it. But we will keep it again short, 15-20 minutes. And first review from the last week. We ended our last stream with two key messages. One, inflation is not over, and second, Ethereum likely will get to 1,720. And then I said, okay, let's see what happens next week. Here we are, 1 week later. Ethereum, as you can see on the screen, let's say, actually, it's some luck or coincidence, but we exactly at 1,720. Exactly as we talked 1 week ago. But let's start with inflation, because this is an interesting part, and I believe it's good, not always, but in the current condition, it's good to always first address a bigger picture, micro picture. As we said last week, it was quiet or relatively quiet about inflation expectations, but it's not over. We are not at the peak. And last this week, if even European Central Bank reacted with knee-jerk action of increasing the rates by 75 basic points, it's too late. They should have done it a long time before. I do believe we will see, as you see on the screen, it's taken from US Treasury, and we're around, it's not inflation rate, it's just what is a payment on US Treasury, 3.2%. I do believe we get here at least at 4%, maybe even higher. You never know. Market, once it gets into the trend, difficult to stop. Mostly because of this picture. I think I will not go too much into the salient waves or pattern analysis. But here, where we might have pick up, and we typically, whenever we get to some extreme values, there should be extreme emotions. So I expect a lot of talks, and in this case, blames on the government that they failed completely, and it will be published in normal media. Yeah. So, and well, I myself, like German, live in Switzerland, so I always keep track on this, and the German bonds. It means we will probably likely break down below 141. Anyway, in Germany, it's extreme inflation. If even in Switzerland, it's a kind of contained, but in Europe, we have easily 10% official, maybe even more. So taking into account the things, big inflation is never good for economy. If even it's considered to be by central banks, that's why they keep this policy so long time, that maybe this is the way out of their debt and whatever they want to have. They wanted to have some inflation, not the stagnation, which was like for 2 years. Economy is bad. I mean, people start saving money, they buying less. And the companies need to buy higher prices for energy, and they need to increase prices. I mean, it will not end up good. If even the stocks prices will increase nominally, but it will be difficult to catch up with inflation. So how crypto will react? Well, it's an open question. I still do believe partially because Bitcoin lost its story, that it's a hedge against inflation. This is exactly what might happen. It might work nicely against inflation eventually, but we'll see when exactly it will happen. So macroeconomic, we'll see worse before best, but keep in mind also markets and prices within markets. It's always about the future. And sometimes long future. So the moment we hit the worst economic condition, market will miraculously start recovering, pumping, growing, maybe even before. And always confusing people, maybe if you don't understand how market works, it's always about pricing or speculating on the future, 6 months ahead, at least. And yeah, on this macroeconomic level, inflation will probably kick even more, and they will have to keep increasing rates. Central bank, maybe European, have to stop somewhere between 3 and 4. American, yeah, on similar level. And interesting thing now we're coming back to lower things, or not lower time frame. Now, as you see on the screen, and this is what we shared in our Pro channel, and the formation before the Bitcoin and Ethereum and most of the crypto shortly dropped was very suspiciously looking like a triangle. And triangle, it's often, when not always, actually always, it's formation before the last push in the directions of previous trend. So it means turnaround happens after breakout of triangle. This is what we saw. And by observing some of the metrics, I want to share with you today what could have been a nice alpha signal. There have been several, but this is maybe one of the best and quite unique, which you can see only in crypto. And you will not see it on many platforms. So let's talk about debt creation, repayment, and destruction in the crypto. And we focus for the moment on Maker. If even it will be much deeper and precise picture if we include ARV and compound, but we're working on a data pipeline, so it's not here yet. So two things important, in my opinion, to observe: debt creation, and you can see it on this chart. Yeah, and we selected debt created out of Ethereum and out of locked Bitcoin, wrapped Bitcoin. And there was none, like literally almost nothing in the last, ever since we went to down. Well, there is something once you increase the rate, but it's really very small amount. If I increase again, you'll see that it's nothing to compare what was created close to the tops. Yeah, there will be a lot of debt creating once markets start pumping or people getting convinced this is now good environment, good condition to make a debt, to either to go leverage long or do complex investment strategies, other complex investment strategies. So this is what you will see, this kind of spikes. Yeah, millions of debt created out of Bitcoin or out of Ethereum, doesn't matter. No signs yet. So when you see a growing market, like in this time, or initially this time, and there is no debt creation, it's already a good signal for you. But there is a second part, which is in combination with the first one, even stronger, debt repayment. And this time people pay back debt made out of wrapped Bitcoins. Why would they do it? Because they're afraid Bitcoin will fall down and they get liquidated and then they lose 20% or whatever the market conditions unsecure or they're unconfident or a little bit scared or concerned. So they will be paying debt back. You will see the cluster of extreme debt repayment when it's really big bottom or very scary market conditions. Yeah, it's starting from this when we hit the ultimate bottom back in June, and then shortly thereafter, really everyone is scared. Then nothing happens, and then suddenly now. So combination of these two signs, lack of new debt creation and repayment of the worst one, it's a good sign. And this is what was a kind of alpha indicator for the current pump. And it happened, you see, around this time when we broke out of the triangle and we went down. Yeah, so this is what I want you to take with you. And Gary, you can share then after the stream is finished, the chart layout. There are more indicators here. We'll see if we go into them or not during today's stream. They're quite interesting. You can spend some time analyzing where is alpha. But this tool is extremely important, in my opinion. Yeah? Debt creation and destruction and behavior of big holders who are behind it. One more interesting thing here is, of course, we always pay attention to fountain rate, and they stay negative in Ethereum still. So it gives quite a confident call. We could keep climbing up. Once we pick and we are about to turn down, you will see start seeing these formations that fountain rates will stay positive over some time. It means people get comfortably long, or they feel comfortably to go long. Then market will reverse. Doesn't look like we tried one time here yesterday, but went immediately negative. So people keep shorting, and market like punishing speculators. Yeah, so this is one thing why we still can consider that marketers can grow. Now, there is, but this is for speculators, really. For speculators, you own, you can risk. Now, if you wanna have, there is no risk-free, but as risk-free as possible, then you want to look into this specific chart. It's a behavior of specific group of Bitcoin holders. And previously, we actually look only into this big one, 1,000 to 10,000 Bitcoin holders, because there is a move in the market, not us, small fish. Yeah, not institutionals like Salvador. They're coming on top. And now, yesterday I just heard when driving in some news, they lost 400 millions. Yeah. Institutionals at this level, they always come late. Yeah. Never follow them. But this is a smart money. This is a heavy smart money. And previously, we always like to follow them. Let's say here. Okay, this is where we come out of the bear market. Somewhere here. Wait, I will show you how it was in 2019. Okay, it's even here. Yeah, let's extend it a little bit like this. And see how they pump the market. So these guys are capable of, they're moving the market. Yeah. You will see many interesting patterns. They accumulate heavily, maybe a little bit distribute, sell to keep profits, again accumulate. They always will sell a bit early. Let me do price of Bitcoin here, field line. So it's easy, yeah. So the green is the price. And this is a wealthy, big whales. They always accumulate, and once they accumulate, price goes up. They will start selling early because they realize some profits, but they still keep their position. Yeah. They also actually feel FOMO, so after market corrected, they will buy. They're like us, normal humans. With only difference, they're capable of moving the markets, and they do it. So we need to follow them. So previously, we followed this group. But it was a time when Bitcoin was 4,000 or 5,000. Now, once the Bitcoin 20,000, I do believe we need to start following the group too, because it's a big money now again. So let's come back to where we are now. Is all good? I heard some noise. Yeah, okay, good. Yeah, so let's come back to this group and to this group. Yeah, it doesn't look as good. You can notice from here, especially the big holders, they're just decreasing. So if you're for safe, well, as safe as it's possible in crypto, you have to practice patience and wait till this group turns around and they start accumulating. This one, it's why for more risky people, given a good sign. They've been stable ever since June. Sometimes you see increasing, sometimes, let me just remove this group. We can hide magic. Cool. We have new features which are really cool. So now we're only left with this group, this one. Since this time, they've been increasing, decreasing, but they keep stable. Yeah, they hold the line. They're the ultimate holders. And this gives us some confidence, yeah. And as you can see, the market grows together with them. But this group is, let me reapply it again, show metric. Unfortunately, this group is still lacking confidence, and they're really capable of moving back in a big way. For whatever reason, they increased a little bit, but they dumped again. Yeah, and you see since the top. But this is where they try to buy the dip, but get disappointed and ever since decreasing. So if you want to play it as safe as these guys are playing, follow them, to wait, practice some patience. Maybe these big guys also concerned about inflation, all these macroeconomic things. And with this in mind, this chart layout we can also share. If even I think to track the latest data, you will need maybe subscriptions. But keep in mind, the listeners of This Week in Crypto, you can apply a code TWIC this week in crypto, and you will get, I don't remember how much exactly, maybe 25% discount. Max, was it 25? Or
yes, that's right, for the first billing cycle.
Yes, but it will save you much more money. You will not be too early. You might be a bit later than highly risky guys, but you will be in a company of good people. Or I don't know if they're good people, but those who can impact the market, let's put it this way. And this is a macroeconomic going down to midterm trends, which I wanted to share just because it's exactly how I'm playing. We will see if we get any predictions for the next week to come. Well, we can come out with predictions, so you should not expect us coming with predictions every week because you cannot enforce insights. And this clear side of 1,720 might be even a bit of luck. But what we can share here, just because in our portfolio we hold few coins, some of them like Maker, so. And I don't like much the holders' behavior, but because Maker have so many problems, well, actually, I like to keep it. I like troubled assets. Okay, let's see, like this. And I think actually we covered last week. ENS, this is a really beloved one. And I think I shared it last week how good the token holders' behavior is. Yeah, here's once again. 10 to 1,000 coins, it's exactly behave as it expected because it's people who got mostly airdrop, so you can hide them. And if they dump, it's completely fine. But these two groups, I like them. One is 1,000 to 10,000. It's already sizable, very sizable. Taking into account the price of ENS, it's actually, let's change the color so that we are having the same everywhere. Yeah. It was 15, wait. Is it really 15? Was it? Yeah, indeed. It was last week, I think. Yeah, almost get to 13 down. So if you hold 1,000 to 10,000, it's like, let's put 15,000 to 150,000. This is the active portfolio managers. This is who really fighting to increase their stake or increase their value. If you have less, well, you have no impact, but this group can have a little bit impact, but also they're monitoring, managing portfolio actively because they're motivated to increase it. And this group have been accumulated. And they get convinced here around the top, bottom to the dip. Did not decrease much. They hold the ground and not increasing yet, which is a good sign. Why is it a good sign? Because if they would increase, they would be too much convinced. They're still a little bit concerned. But on top of it, there is another group which hold even higher, which hold 100,000 to 1 million in their portfolio. And they, as you can see, ever since the bottom, just keep buying. You hide all the rest so you can see only this group. Yeah, they just keep buying and increasing, and they're the ones who are moving the market. They took a little bit of profit now. Yeah, that's true. But combined with this two, it was a good sign. Now, why we are at the moment a little bit concerned? You will see on the next chart. Maybe it's well, it's not really concerned. It's just we believe it's maybe time for some correction. You will see it. Let me hide this one. So active addresses and MBRV ratio. In active addresses, if you know and follow us for some time, it's one of the key metrics which we observe in terms of are there any divergences. And divergences in our case, when we see any asset growing, it's when the price pushing up, but network activity or addition of new addresses or transactions or velocity start declining. And this is what we see now in ENS, in our beloved ENS. this seems to be the peak of advance for the moment. If even price is pushing, network activity keep declining. That looks a bit dangerous. We might experience revisit of level of 13 or 14. Yeah, just keep it in mind. And of course, in BRV, it's not extreme yet. It's 16, but okay, let me take it to historical levels. Yeah, it's well 38 or 40%. I didn't know it gets so far. Anything above this level, above 25, typically dangerous territory. And in BRV, just to remind, market value to realized value. It's what is the current value of coins which were bought at a lower price. Or other way around, if we got negative, it means what is the value of all coins which were bought higher on average. So if holders, and we consider here only people who bought in the last 30 days, so relatively not too short, not too long, but active participants. So if their profits on average go 20, 30, especially close to 40%, you bet they will dump. They will take it. And it shows quite extreme market conditions. Also negative if it went down to 40, 30, 40, or even like here we got how much in the peak? My goodness, 57%. Okay, that was extreme. That is show you a lot of pain. So at the moment, we're not in extreme yet, but we are ripe for some, let's put it in a way, short correction. So if I would give any non-investment advice, but forecast for next week when we talk again, I would expect now EUNS to go somewhere lower, to level 14, 13, depends how much it want to correct. But eventually to spike above this level, which is $70, that would be cool. So we should break the top, but initially we should experience some corrections. And how far we go, I don't know. The moment you see in BRV around 30, that will be concerning sign. At least for us, we hold it. We'll be considering exit strategies. Okay, I think that's it. Oh, 23 minutes. I like this time. I like to keep it sharp and precise. Sharing with you macroeconomic, how we see the market, but also practical application and usage of metrics we are using almost on daily basis. Now let's see if we got any questions. Wow, so many questions. Okay, let me read shortly. Thank you, Max and Max. Okay. Thank you, Dan. Oh, thank you, Dan. Yes. I don't know if it's better than Glassnode, but it's just a bit different. Our approach to market was always heavily based on behavior analysis, meaning understanding how group of holders, small, especially crowd, small holders, but big mouths behave, and big holders, but little token people behave. The opposite. And trying to build metrics around to understand where we are and who want to align us with. If you're going to look at Ethereum custom metrics, daily active addresses, daily active deposits. Yeah, okay, yeah, I can look into it. If we could look at other, Cardano, yeah, okay. I use the TSDC. Okay. Oh, by the way, the last question, what platform is this? The platform is Santiment.net. Yeah. Okay, let's, if there is a question, actually it's a very good one indeed. Daily active addresses in percentage to daily active deposits. Actually, it's the other way around. What is in active addresses on daily basis? What is the percentage of them is being involved into deposit to exchanges? This is very good. And I remember we had here, I just wonder where exactly, this is a set of, we're tracking almost every day. Well, maybe I create myself anyway. Let's go back. I will save changes here, and I will go to my. Actually, I wonder if it appears. We keep changing the main. Yeah, main page. You know, this is the favorites which I see in my feed. Consists of my creation, but not only. And this is what generally our community picks up. Actually, I read this one piece. It was a very good one. Now, behavior setup, and where do I have here? And you will see how to do it. And I will add it here, and I will hide here. And now we'll see. Now we have this metric. So what it shows, it's a percentage. So if you to change a little bit, and then to show percentages, and we need to then we will see percentage. Good. So this is really okay. Did I already do it? Oh. Sorry. Take it longer time. What do we see here? Actually, it's surprisingly smart behavior. I'm just not sure about the formula. Active deposits, it's X1. The elective addresses, it's X2. No, it's correct. It's correct. Okay, good. And remember that it comes 1 day later. Yeah, because we calculate data for last day and then we apply them. I guess if any. Once again, where exactly, Max? -1. No, we can play around. So active deposit is amount of addresses, right? So let's say we had 100 deposit and 1,000. No, it should be like this. If you multiply the 100, it should be percentage. But somehow now I'm not 100% sure. The important point is when we have high values, like we have here, I'm surprised to have it here. But if we take into account that it comes a kind of from the previous day, let's decrease it a little bit, like this. So this is too long time. So, yeah. Then it would make sense. The high amount of deposits in the total amount of network activity would mean a bit of concerns, or at least activity may be engaging. Ethereum not the best choice. I think we need to take some other coin, but like arbitrage, just because Ethereum on all exchanges, of all liquidity, and it does make sense to arbitrage it. So it will coincide high amount with some specific, or especially like we see it here, well, that's a lot, extreme market conditions. But I do believe that the low values, it's a kind of good times to buys because of lack of interest or lack of involvement into network or exchange activities might be good for accumulating. You're basically doing what others are not doing. Yeah, but anyway, Lanpao, if you ask, we can share with you this chart, or you can recreate it yourself. And as we're here, I want to check it, how it will look for some other assets, because I think we can get better results if we IFI, Uniswap, or ENS? I'm thinking, okay, let's start with Uniswap. Uniswap. Will we see here anything? Yeah, it's much more volatile. It's really like zigzags. So you can say that sometimes getting as extreme as 20% of all network activity is related to exchanges. Wow, okay. It definitely makes more interesting and sense to analyze it. Let me see if we have the same. Analyze Uniswap, and then we'll check. Okay, ENS maybe too. Yeah, also very, very volatile. Extremely 29. My goodness, 38. 50 or 40, almost 40% of all network activity just was because of people deposit exchange. Yeah. Okay. So I would say let's Ethereum. It will need to apply some more metrics. Probably exclude maybe small transactions, only take into account big ones. There's to focus where people really feel concerned and they start depositing exchanges. Where on smaller coins, ENS has, I don't remember how much, around 100 or 200 million capitalization. And there are not so like 100,000 of holders. It's less. So their behavior will be more focused, concentrated. These spikes, extreme spikes, reflect some fear and concerns. And this is exactly this point where you would like it to see. We grew a little bit and we start declining. So people got panicked and say, okay, now is the time for whatever price I bought, slight profit or slight loss. Most likely they try to a slight profit. I need to deposit to exchange just to get ready, or maybe dump it right now. Some of them dumped, but this is shortly before or after we already build the bottom. And you will see this repeating behavior also here, right after the bottom. And here also cluster, kind of panicking cluster around building the bottom. Yeah. Better accumulate or better analyze a bit smaller coins. Now I'm also interested if we can see on IFI something similar. Even though I'm not sure that IFI makes much sense because it's mostly traded on decentralized exchanges. Yeah, I don't know. Need to analyze more. IFI looks looks interesting, but it's more like a following indicator. We grow, we fall. Yeah. So ENS in Union looks okay. IFI I'm not sure about. And thanks for bringing up. Actually, I didn't look into this indicator quite a long time. Okay. USDC, whale, and exchange balance metrics. But we do have something. I'm not sure if this is what you're asking for. An exchange balance. Oh, now I'm suggested to join exactly where we're now. If who asked the question? Nathan, if you can specify what do you mean exchange balance metrics, because we have several, then it will be cool. I could answer it. But talking about USDT and USDC, we do like analyze behavior of two groups. And I think we mentioned it last time. Check. Okay, let's visit here a little bit. So are we on the latest date? Just to make sure, let's say less 3 months. Okay. And the same group, you will see people holding 10 with 100,000 of coins, be it USDC or USDT. And we generally believe if they increase in their stake, especially in the growing market, it's a good sign because they prefer to keep stables. They don't change stables for some more risky or volatile and potentially profitable assets. USDT show good behavior still. Nothing has changed. USDC basically the same. It does go down a little bit, though not too much. If it continues going down USDC, well, we'll consider it not so good sign, or I will recommend considering not so good sign, and maybe change our stage. But at the moment, it's still okay. Generally, the increases are stack, both USDT and USDC. The chat. Okay, cool. Yeah. Gary, if you're on the call, please share it too. So there will be DAI or maker debt creation liquidation. Then on Bitcoin, 100 to 1,000 to 10,000 holders, and USDT, USDC. Yeah.
Gary is here. Will do.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Yeah. And I would say, well, today is longer, not 20 minutes, almost 40 minutes. As that would make a good summary, and we went into details or ENS. And unless we have some more specific questions, I'm looking into the chat. So if someone has questions, we can close it. I mean, if no questions appears, we can close it. If someone has questions, we can go into it. So I drink some water. What is good after talking for 40 minutes? USDT, balance and exchange. Okay, let me see. I think I know what you mean. Exchange. Okay, so exchanges, exchange flow balance, supply and exchanges. I wonder which one you mean. Do you mean supply and exchanges? Yeah, let's take this one. So first we'll get supply and exchanges for USDT. Yeah, let's look into the chart. And then we will take USDC on Ethereum and also supply and exchanges. Did I take 1%? Yeah. Supply and exchanges. Now we will hide this too, not to confuse us with too many metrics. And we will say, is it lock? Okay. Wait. No. Need for formula. Okay, so what do we see? No, I did not look myself yet before the conversation. Let's see a bit longer term. So one blue is USDT on exchanges. Another red, USDC on exchanges. Wow, they show very almost like mirror behavior. Now I wonder what that means. Where for USDT, the stories, people keep it a lot on exchanges. Well, it might mean on one side that people don't believe so much in USDT, so they prefer to keep it for speculative purposes, or market makers like USDT, and they keep it on exchanges a lot. And actually 41%, that's really a lot. Oh my goodness. Where USDC, you can see it's only 5 or 6% on the exchanges. Wow, that's very little. I'll leave you with this chat. I'm not sure I can come out with a specific conclusion, like right at top of my head, but it's very interesting. Thanks for bringing it up. I need to analyze it. What we can do, we can go back to this time, this exciting time coming out of the previous bottom, big bottom 2019, and see how was it at that time. What we saw, balances were decreasing for very prolonged period of time. What we see now in USDC, yeah. If even at the time it was actually quite a lot, 31%. So it was decreasing. At some point of time, they changed. You see this line, yeah? It's like This is a magical point of time, whatever you call it, but it's really impressive. Some point of time, well, first USDT and then USDC, they change their behavior, the turnaround. And the kind of course, you cannot see it when it's happening, but after some time you would notice it. Something has changed in behavior. Then again, USDC went even lower, even though USDT keep increasing. Yeah. What does it show us? That if we wait for them to turn and show new behavior, we'll be a bit late. So it's okay to risk a bit earlier. But once you see this change of behavior, it means we're really in a major trend. Being a really major trend. Yeah, but once again, that will be a bit too late. And this small, same. It's actually very interesting how the balances on exchange, and especially in USDC, keep repeating, keep decreasing, and then they move it and start using it for buying. Yeah, it's very interesting. Anyway, we will share it. You can analyze it for yourself. Yeah, you can analyze it for yourself. Oh wow, so many questions. USDC have HBAR and Santiment. There are some base. USDT may have more trading pairs. Yeah. During trading time, switch to USDT. Okay. Yeah. I mean, feel free if you have some summary or interest in founding, just publish your thoughts together with this chart layout, or you extend it to some other metrics. And I will be happy to see it on our Sunbase here under the new, and you will get my likes. Not only mine, but yeah, there will be, we have thousands of people checking it, so the people happily reading it. Okay, 43 minutes now. Today we went into more details, 45 almost. Let's call today. Let's call today. Next week, I guess Brian will be here, but we will revisit our, so to say, forecast, which are not investment buys, but just a forecast. Again, they will be mostly concerned about ENS, as I have no really clear calls yet for Bitcoin and Ethereum. And I wish you insightful studies of patterns and behavior analysis, and good placed money and time in whatever you're involved into crypto. Okay, have a good day, everyone. Have a good week.